Now what I want to do is put this in there as a plug. It's going to be a floating disc. So I'm going to make a cavity 1/4 inch deep for this to fit in. The glue will be only at the end grains, just in those 2 spots, to hold it in there so that it can float across the grain. After that glue dries, I will trim this off so it's flush with this surface, put the second ring on top of that, and then carry on to do the rest of this piece. When it's all finished, I will reverse it and trim this to 1/2 inch thick. All right, I want to create that cavity now. All right, just very slightly over 1/4 inch. That'll work for me just fine. There's just enough room for it to expand side to side in there. So I'll just put a drop of glue on each end of the grain here. Takes very little, and I don't want too much. So let's just put that in there. Center it as well as I can. Bring this up to hold it in place. And I'll give that time to dry, and I'll be back. And another potential floating disc. All right, I will let that glue cure, and I'll be back for the next one. The next ring I'm going to put on is Wenge to match the floating disc, and each successive ring now is going to be 1/4 inch thick. So I'm going to put a few of them on using the same techniques, and then I will be back. All right, the inside is ready for sanding. So I'm going to sand this much. I'm just going to take strips of sandpaper in here like this and hold it, and I will sand. I think I can start at about 120 and go up to 400 grit. I'll show you a very little bit of that, and I'll be back when I finish this. I have 4 more rings I want to glue on here, so I'll get those glued on and then I'll be back. And I think this turned out just beautifully inside here. I'm going to use Howard Feed-N Wax on here. I like the warm glow that it gives. And it's, let's face it, it's a very easy finish to apply. So I'll just get this turning at 100 RPM. Put it on here and spread it. After this is applied, I'm just going to let it sit for a few minutes to soak in, and then I'll come back and I will buff this And then, of course, it's going to be time to part this off and finish the bottom. And besides the warm glow it gives to the wood, I like the way it makes the figure pop as well. Set this at 1000 RPM and do a little more buffing. All right, I believe it's time to part this off. I'm sure you noticed that someone forgot to turn on the camera when I was parting off the bottom of this bowl. I don't know who it was, but I'm sure not impressed about it.